Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to bring you the essential insights you need fast. Today, we're stepping into a world that's both incredibly empowering and, let's be honest, maybe a little daunting for many authors, self-publishing. It's the dream, right? Getting your masterpiece out there directly into the hands, well, onto the screens of readers across the globe.
Absolutely. It's an amazing opportunity, but here's the kicker. That masterpiece needs to be seen, and crucially, seen well on every single device. And that's really where today's deep dive comes in. We're basically giving you a shortcut to mastering one of the most critical yet often overlooked aspects of self-publishing, ebook formatting.
That's exactly it. Our guide for this journey is a true essential manual, you could say. It's the Smashwords Style Guide by Mark Coker. We're looking specifically at the Rev 9.1 or 10 edition. Think of this as your compass for not just publishing successfully on Smashwords, but honestly for getting your book looking professional across a huge number of retailers.
Yeah, exactly. And our mission today is really to pull out the most practical, step-by-step insights from this guide. We want you to understand not just what to do, but the powerful why behind it. Ensuring your book looks its absolute best on any e-reading device. Ultimately, it's about truly liberating your words for the digital age, letting them adapt seamlessly to how your reader prefers to consume them.
Okay, so let's unpack the core philosophy here. Mark Coker lays out what he calls the 3 secrets to ebook formatting success, and it's a mantra that really hits home. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it simple. That almost sounds too simple, right? But he stresses that trying to make an ebook an exact replica of a print book, that's just a recipe for pure frustration and frankly conversion failure.
Yeah.
So why is that simplicity so crucial?
Well, it's because the fundamental difference between ebook and print formatting is often misunderstood. With a print book, you're building a static structure, right? Words appear exactly where you want them on a fixed page. It's like building a house with really rigid blueprints. But with ebooks, there is no fixed page. Your text is designed to, shape-shift and reflow. This means readers have complete control. They can customize the font, the size, even the line spacing.
Ah, right.
So the core insight here is that you have to let go of that pixel-perfect layout control. You have to give that up for greater accessibility. You're not building a static image. You're crafting liquid text that flows to fit any screen. And simplicity is what makes that flow beautiful, not, chaotic.
And part of that simplicity extends to what Smashwords actually publishes. They're pretty clear on their boundaries, aren't they?
Indeed. Yeah, very clear. Smashwords publishes only original and legal works directly from the author or an exclusive digital publisher. They have some strict rules. No public domain books unless you happen to be the original author.
Right.
They also don't publish incomplete or partial books or anything that appears elsewhere under other authors' names, like those private label rights scams you sometimes see. If you're writing erotica, all characters must be adults. That's a firm rule. And crucially, they strongly discourage get-rich-quick systems. The guide makes it very, very clear. Smashwords is for serious writers only. This commitment to quality and originality is part of what allows them to distribute to so many other retailers, you see.
Okay. Now let's get into what I think are the ultimate aha moments for many authors. Those common formatting mistakes that Mark Coker really wants everyone to avoid. He highlights 5 big ones that can completely derail your book's professionalism and honestly, probably your sanity too.
Oh yeah, these are absolutely critical. First up, improper indents. This is huge. You should never, ever use tabs or the spacebar to create your paragraph indents. Never. The aha moment here is understanding that ebooks aren't static pages. They flow. Tabs and spaces are just visual tricks for fixed print layouts. But in a flowing digital format, they become meaningless or actively disruptive. It's like trying to nail water to a wall,
Good analogy. Okay.
The correct methods are either a first-line indent coded right into your paragraph style or using the block paragraph style.
That's it.
Okay, so tabs and spaces are basically digital quicksand. Got it. What's the next big one?
Second is repeating paragraph returns. This means hitting the enter key multiple times in a row. You should never use more than, say, 3 or maybe 4 consecutive paragraph returns just to arrange text on the page.
Why not?
Because this creates excessive blank ebook pages, especially on smaller screens. It's incredibly frustrating for readers who are just constantly swiping through empty space.
Oh, I can see that being annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about indents and too many returns. What about the space between paragraphs Any common missteps there, too?
Absolutely. That's the third big one. Improper paragraph separation. Paragraphs need either a first-line indent or the block paragraph method, but crucially, never both at the same time.
Okay. One or the other. Exactly. And if you're using block style, you modify the paragraph style itself to add a slight trailing space after the paragraph, usually just a few points, like 6 pen. The mistake people make is using an extra paragraph return to create that blank line visually. That will get your book flagged by their system.
Got it. Don't use enter for spacing between paragraphs. And what about the actual look of the text itself? Fonts and styles.
That's number 4. Font and style mistakes. You really want to avoid fancy or non-standard fonts. Also, colored fonts, they can completely disappear on some e-ink devices. And kerning.
Kerning? What's that again?
That's the tiny, precise adjustment to spacing between individual letters. This looks great in print, maybe, but it just doesn't translate well to flexible ebook formats where the reader changes the font size.
Okay.
Also, huge font sizes, like over 16 points, are generally a no-go. And definitely don't go overboard using lots of different paragraph styles throughout the book. Remember that mantra. Simplicity is your best friend here. Keep it clean.
And finally, a very common oversight that can actually prevent your book from reaching their premium catalog distribution. Copyright page mistakes. Authors sometimes forget to include the required front matter, or they format it incorrectly.
Exactly. These 5 mistakes are really the biggest hurdles. Smashwords' automated system, which they call Meatgrinder, tries to flag.
Meatgrinder. Okay, tell us about that.
Meatgrinder is their automated conversion technology. It takes your Microsoft Word .doc file, and it has to be .doc, not .docs initially, and converts it into multiple formats, things like EPUB, PDF, RTF, Mubi for Kindle, and others. It's a powerful, free service that aims to make your book readable on pretty much any device out there.
Sounds great.
It is, but the guide issues a pretty strong warning. It says, if you ignore the formatting requirements, Meatgrinder will turn your book into hamburger.
Hamburger. That's a pretty vivid warning. I can just imagine authors pulling their hair out when they see that conversion status. So, to avoid Meatgrinder turning your masterpiece into, well, hamburger, it sounds like we need to proactively whip our Word document into shape. What are the very first steps before we even think about uploading?
Okay, the first rule is indeed golden. Always work on a copy of your final manuscript. Always. Save it as a .doc file. This way, if you make any mistakes during formatting, and you might, your original is safe.
Good tip.
And importantly, turn off Word's track changes feature, the markup mode. If that's active, Meatgrinder will just reject your file outright.
Okay, track changes off. Got it. Now, I've heard about this show hide feature, that little mark the pilcrow in the toolbar. On it just looks like a mess of dots and symbols when I turn it on. What's the trick to using it effectively? What are we actually looking for?
You're not alone. A lot of people feel that way initially. But think of it as your X-ray vision for formatting. Activating Show Hide exposes all the hidden formatting, marks those paragraph returns, the symbol, the dots for spaces, arrows for tabs, other field codes, stuff that's often invisible but can wreak havoc on your ebook conversion. Without it, you're essentially editing blind. You're making changes without seeing the potential digital landmines.
Digital landmines, I like that.
Yeah. The trick is to learn what each symbol means. A paragraph mark for bet, enter a dot for a space, an arrow for a tab, and then systematically remove anything extraneous, anything that shouldn't be there according to the guide. It's foundational for cleaning your document for the best possible conversion.
And speaking of hidden formatting, Word's autocorrect features, especially auto-format as you type and auto-format, can be incredibly annoying. I find them trying to guess what I want and usually guessing wrong.
Annoying is an understatement. They can be disastrous for consistency. These features try to guess what formatting you want, often messing things up without you realizing. Like, if you have paragraphs formatted inconsistently, maybe some as body text and others as normal, your ebook will look terrible, jumping between styles. You absolutely must turn these off in Word's options. Go into File Options, Proofing Autocorrect Options, and uncheck everything under Auto Format as you type and Auto Format. This ensures your manual formatting changes actually stick consistently throughout the manuscript.
Okay, definitely turning those off. Now, let's talk about text boxes. Many of us use them for visual flair in Word, for callouts or sidebars. But from what I understand, they can be absolute digital nightmares for ebook conversion. Why is that?
Oh, text boxes are indeed the bane of ebook conversions.
Yeah.
Absolute nightmares is right. They corrupt files, essentially. by inserting a paragraph return at the end of every single line within the box.
Oh.
Yeah, imagine your beautiful prose suddenly broken up into these choppy single-line fragments. It's unreadable. You can usually spot them by going to View, Print Layout in Word, and just clicking right on your pages. If shaded, dashy lines appear around some text, that's probably a text box.
And you have to get rid of them.
You have to eliminate them completely. Copy the text out, paste it as normal text, and delete the box. The guide even offers something called the nuclear option as a shortcut to deal with them and other deep-seated formatting corruption.
The nuclear option. Okay, that sounds like a powerful reset button. What exactly does it entail, and when should an author really consider hitting it?
It's the ultimate purge, basically. It's for when your manuscript feels truly corrupted by hidden formatting gremlins, or maybe if you've tried everything else and Meatgrinder keeps spitting out hamburger, as they say.
Right.
The magic is using a plain text editor, like Windows Notepad. You copy your entire manuscript from Word, paste it into Notepad. Notepad strips away all the hidden formatting code, all this stuff Wood loves to embed, but ebooks absolutely despise.
Okay. It just takes the plain text.
Exactly. Then you close Word completely, reopen it to a fresh, brand new, empty document, and paste the clean text back in from Notepad. This guarantees you a completely clean slate, ready for you to reapply only the minimal necessary formatting according to the style guide. It's kind of a last resort, maybe, but incredibly effective for a truly messy file.
So once we've got that clean slate, maybe via the nuclear option, maybe just careful cleaning,
Yeah.
stripped of all those hidden formatting gremlins,
Right.
how do we then build back the essential structure? Starting with paragraphs, the guide insists on a critical first step, normalizing your text. What's that?
This is fundamental, yeah. Before you do anything else stylistically, you press Ctrl+A to select absolutely everything in your document. Then you go to your Styles menu and change everything to the normal paragraph style.
Everything to normal. Why?
Because this unifies your base font, your font size, line spacing, justification, everything. It creates a consistent foundation. If you skip this step, customers might complain about erratic font changes, jumping between sizes and styles mid-sentence sometimes. And your book could even be rejected from the premium catalog. So it creates that consistent base before you add any specific styles like headings or indents.
Okay, makes sense. And from that normal baseline, you then choose your paragraph separation method and, crucially, as you said, stick to it throughout the main body of the text.
Exactly. Consistency is key. You choose either a first-line indent, which is generally best for fiction and a lot of narrative nonfiction. You set it in the normal style settings. Special first line, maybe 0.25 or 0.3 inches, and make sure the spacing before and spacing after is set to 0 points.
Okay.
Or you choose the block paragraph method, which is common for some nonfiction. For this, you leave the indent at 0, but you set a slight, consistent space after each paragraph in the style settings, maybe 6 points or 10 points.
And the crucial rule.
Do not mix these methods within your main body text. Pick one and stick with it. And absolutely do not use empty paragraph returns, hitting enter twice, to create the visual space in block style. Use the spacing after setting in the style.
Right. We mentioned them earlier, but it probably bears repeating. Why are tabs and spaces still the enemy for creating indents? I mean, they seem so easy to just hit in Word.
They seem easy, but they're ghosts in the machine. They generate auto-vetter errors, which can block you from the premium catalog. And worse, Smashwords online readers and many e-reading devices simply remove them or interpret them unpredictably.
So your indents just disappear.
Exactly. Your carefully crafted indents vanish, making paragraphs run together into an unreadable wall of text. It's like putting invisible markers in a flowing river. The river just ignores them or bumps into them awkwardly. The guide provides essential find and replace shortcuts. That's Ctrl+H in Word. You search for T to find and remove all tabs used for indents. And you can search for a paragraph mark followed by spaces, P with spaces after it, to find and remove spacebar indents. Automating this saves hours of manual correction and frustration.
Super helpful shortcuts. Okay, what about line spacing? Any specific precision needed there?
Yes, definitely. Keep it simple. Set your line spacing in the normal style to single or maybe 1.5 lines.
Yep.
Never use double spacing. And definitely never use exactly, or at least with a specific point size value.
Why not exactly? That sounds precise.
It sounds precise for print. But in ebooks, it's a common error that causes lines of text to overlap each other, making your text completely unreadable, especially in things like the HTML reader or certain EPB files. It's a quick way to get your book pulled from retailers if a reader complains. Think about how frustrating that would be.
Definitely want to avoid that. Okay, and paragraph returns, we're talking about just hitting the enter key, right? How strategic do we need to be with that?
Very strategic. Only use one paragraph return, hitting enter once, at the very end of a paragraph. That's it.
Unless.
And so unless it's poetry, which we'll get to. But for prose, never use more than, say, 4 consecutive returns just to try and force page breaks or visually arranged text. Doing that creates those awful blank ebook pages or huge unsightly gaps on smaller screens. Again, it will disqualify your book from the premium catalog. E-reading devices often add their own extra padding after returns anyway, so multiple returns can create truly enormous, unprofessional spacing. Just don't do it.
Okay. Poetry, though, you mentioned has its own rules. I imagine that's tricky since it's all about line breaks and visual structure.
It certainly does. For most poetry, simple paragraph returns at the end of each line are often the best approach. You'd typically set the paragraph style to have no indent and 0 spacing after to maintain that visual rhythm of the lines.
Makes sense.
For more complex layouts, maybe with distinct stanzas, an advanced option mentioned is using manual line feeds that shift, plus enter within a stanza. Then you use a single paragraph return, enter, only between stanzas, maybe with that paragraph style coded for a slight trailing space. This can achieve precise visual separation without creating those excessive, ugly gaps you get from hitting enter multiple times.
Okay, that's helpful for the poets out there. Let's move beyond basic text then and talk about handling specific elements like images. What are the rules for embedding pictures, and why are they so strict about things like file size?
Right, images. They should always be embedded directly into your Word file using insert picture from file. Don't copy and paste them. Critically, avoid floating images, those wrapped with text. You need to right-click the image, go to Format Picture Layout or Wrap Text, and set it to Inline with Text.
Inline with text. Got it.
And then usually just center the image using the standard center alignment button. Keep your images relatively small, typically under 500 pixels wide is recommended, and definitely compress their file sizes before inserting, or use Word's compression tools.
Why the focus on size?
Well, the aha here is that this isn't just some arbitrary rule. It's about the reader experience and platform efficiency. Loaded files with huge images mean slow downloads for the reader, sluggish page turns, and actually higher distribution costs for Smashwords and their partners. All that detracts from your book's professionalism and the reader's satisfaction. If your manuscript file ends up exceeding 5 megabytes, mainly due to uncompressed images, it will be rejected from the premium catalog distribution.
5 MB limit. Okay, good to know. And hyperlinks. How do we make sure our links actually work in the ebook and perhaps more importantly, don't get us into trouble?
Good question. For external links, like to your website or a source, make sure they are live by including the full HTTP or HTTPS prefix. So, for example, http://www.smashwords.com, not just www.smashwords.com.
Need the HTTP part.
Yes, and a very strict rule from Smashwords. Absolutely no affiliate links. Using them is a direct path to getting your account deleted. Don't risk it.
Okay, no affiliate links. What about links inside the book, like for a table of contents?
For internal links within your book, you use Word's bookmark feature. We'll talk more about building that TOEIC Somaplan. But the key is using bookmarks as the destination. And always test every single link after you create them and before you upload. This is absolutely crucial. Broken links are really frustrating for readers.
What about those traditional print elements like chapter breaks, and actual page breaks, section breaks? I imagine they behave quite differently in a reflowing ebook.
They really do. Actual page breaks, Ctrl plus Enter in Word, are sort of honored in PDF and RTF outputs, but they are generally lost or ignored in most other formats like EPUB and MOBI. Which is fine, really, because ebooks are reflowable. The concept of a fixed page doesn't apply.
So don't rely on them.
Exactly. Don't rely on hard page breaks for chapter starts. Section breaks, however, are worse. They should be removed entirely. Search for them and delete them. They often create unnecessary blank space and can seriously mess up formatting during conversion.
Okay, no section breaks. So how do you separate chapters visually?
The recommended way is just using a consistent number of paragraph returns, typically 3 or 4 empty lines between the end of one chapter and the title of the next. Or some people use centered characters like a row of asterisks or tildes. The key, again, is consistency and simplicity.
Makes sense. What about text justification? Left align, centered, fully justified. Any recommendations for ebook flow?
Left justified is generally recommended for the cleanest, most predictable conversion, especially for body text. Centered text works perfectly well for things like the title page, copyright page, and chapter titles. The guide advises avoiding Word's full justify command, where both left and right edges are aligned. It can sometimes look odd in PDF conversions, creating weird large gaps between words, especially on narrower screens or with larger fonts.
Okay, stick to left align for body text mostly. Font sizes and styles, how much variation is too much? And are there any common symbols that cause weird problems?
Yeah, try to minimize font size variation. A good general rule of thumb is maybe 12-point for your main body text and 14-point for chapter headings or major section titles. Mark Coker actually recommends 14-point as a sensible maximum for any larger fonts in the book. Keep it restrained.
And styles.
Basic styles like italics, underlines, and maybe strike-throughs generally work fine across most devices. Bolding too, of course. For symbols, one specific warning is about the copyright symbol. It's actually safer to just type out the word copyright instead of using the E symbol.
Really? Why is that?
Because that symbol, and sometimes other special characters, can occasionally turn into confusing question marks or weird little boxes on different e-reading devices or in certain formats. Typing the word is foolproof.
Good tip. Headers and footers, especially automatic page numbering, I'm guessing those are completely out for ebooks.
You're guessing right. Remove them completely. Headers and footers usually disappear in most ebook formats anyway. And surprisingly, they can sometimes cause text box-related errors during conversion, particularly if they contain auto-page numbering fields. So, view headers and footers, select everything in them, and hit delete. Keep your manuscript clean of stuff that doesn't translate.
Okay. Now, for chapter titles, there's apparently an optional heading style that can actually help with navigation in the final ebook. Tell us about that little trick.
Yes, this is a neat feature. If you apply one of Word's built-in heading styles, like heading 1 or heading 2, consistently to all your chapter titles, this can do two things. First, it often automatically inserts a sort of soft page break before the heading in the EP and MOBI formats, which gives a nice clean start to the chapter visually.
Okay.
And second, here's a clever trick mentioned in the guide.
Yeah.
If you actually name your chapters using the word chapter, like chapter 1, chapter 2, the joys of ebook formatting, etc., Meatgrinder can often use these heading style titles to automatically generate an NCX file.
NCX, what's that?
Stands for Navigation Control File for XML. Basically, it's like an invisible, dynamic table of contents that gets built right into the e-reader's menu or interface itself. It allows readers to quickly jump between chapters with just a tap or click for the device's navigation menu, no matter where they are in your book. It's a huge boost for reader experience, especially in longer books.
Oh, that sounds incredibly useful. Okay, speaking of tables of contents, let's talk about creating a hyperlinked 2C right there within the book itself. This seems absolutely crucial for reader navigation, especially in nonfiction. How do we build that properly?
It absolutely is crucial. First, a couple of really important don'ts based on the guide. Do not include page numbers in your 2C. Page numbers are totally irrelevant in reflowable ebooks where the reader controls font size.
Right, no page numbers.
And second, do not use Word's automatic table of contents generation feature. It often inserts formatting or field codes that cause problems during conversion. You need to build it manually.
Annually. Okay, how?
It's a two-step process, basically. First, you type out your 2C entries near the beginning of your book, usually right after your title and copyright pages. Just list your chapter titles or main sections. Then you go to each of those actual chapter headings within your manuscript and use Word's Insert Bookmark feature to tag each heading. Give each bookmark a simple, unique name, maybe like Chapter 1, Chapter 2, etc. These are your destinations.
Okay, so bookmark the destination first.
Exactly. Then you go back to your typed-out 2C list at the front. You select the text for the first chapter title in your list, then use Insert, Hyperlink, choose, Place in this document, and then select the corresponding bookmark you created, e.g. link Chapter 1 text to the Chapter 1 bookmark. Repeat for all entries.
So it's tag the destinations with bookmarks, then link the PC text to those bookmarks. That makes perfect sense.
Precisely. And here's another powerful tip from the guide. You can also add links back from the body text. For instance, you can make each chapter title heading in the main text a hyperlink that jumps back up to the main 2C page.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, it makes navigation really seamless for the reader, especially useful in nonfiction where people might jump around. Allows them to easily return to the main overview. But the most crucial part of this entire process, stressed heavily in the guide, is testing. You must test every single link in your Word document before you upload. Click every TOTI entry, click any backlinks. If you edit the bookmark names or the link text after you've created the links, those links might break silently. So be incredibly thorough with testing.
Okay, test. Got it. So we've meticulously formatted the interior. Now for the crucial front matter, end matter, and of course the cover image, what's required for the very front of the book before the story even starts.
Right. The front matter is critical for setting the stage properly. First, blurbs are optional. These are short snippets of testimonials or reviews. If you include them, the guide strongly advises keeping them very brief and placing them right at the very front of the book file. Apparently, too many long testimonials up front can actually discourage readers from getting to the actual content, makes them feel like they're wading through advertising before the book starts.
Interesting point. Keep blurbs short and sweet if used. What's next?
Then, the title and copyright page is absolutely required. This is your crucial first impression and contains essential metadata. The formatting here is specific. It must be centered, have no paragraph indents, use the normal paragraph style you set up earlier, and use only one or maybe two simple font sizes. No fancy stuff.
And what must it include?
It has to include the book title, the author name, a line like published by your name at Smashwords, or you can use Smashwords Edition, and definitely copyright year, author name. Crucially, avoid phrases like published by Amazon or Kindle Edition. That's for other platforms. Also avoid things like printed in the United States, as that's print-specific. Any of those could disqualify you from Smashwords' premium catalog distribution to other retailers. Shorter and cleaner is always better here.
Okay, keep it clean and Smashwords specific. And then there's something called the Smashwords license statement. Is that really necessary?
Yes, according to the guide, this is essential if you're publishing your book as DRM-free, which is Smashwords' default and preferred method. It acts as a kind of gentle reminder, a Trojan horse, as Koken calls it, that reminds readers of their ethical obligation even though the file isn't technically locked. You add specific text provided in the guide for both priced and free ebooks. It basically states the ebook is licensed for the reader's personal enjoyment only and shouldn't be resold or given away. For free books, it clarifies that readers can share it for non-commercial purposes, but only if it's kept in its original unmodified form, including the license statement. It just sets clear expectations up front.
Got it. Sets the ground rules. What about the very end of your book? Is that just where the story stops, the end?
Not at all. The end of your book is actually a vital marketing opportunity, and the guide encourages you to use it. First, it suggests adding a centered hashtag tag or similar symbol to clearly signify the true end of the story content itself.
Okay.
Then, right after that, include a brief personal message to the reader. Thank them for reading. Definitely add an About the Author section with a short bio. And importantly, list Discover other titles by author name at smashwords.com and provide hyperlinks directly to your other books on Smashwords. Make it easy for them to buy more.
Smart. Keep them in your ecosystem.
Exactly. And also provide Connect with Me online, links maybe to your Twitter, your Smashwords author profile page, your blog or website. Keep the conversation going and encourage readers to become loyal fans. Don't just leave them hanging at the end.
Great advice. Leverage that back matter. And finally, the cover image. It's so important for that first impression, whether someone sees it as a huge banner online or just a tiny thumbnail in search results. What are the key requirements?
The cover is vital, yeah. Especially for getting into the premium catalog. It must be a vertical rectangle, definitely not square. It has to include the title and author name, and these must exactly match the metadata you enter when you upload the book. Consistency is key.
What about size and quality?
It needs to be at least 600 pixels tall. The guide suggests something like 500 pixels wide by 800 pixels tall is a good dimension. This ensures it looks reasonably good, even when shrunk down to a tiny thumbnail on a crowded store page.
Any content restrictions?
Yes, critical ones. No nudity, no price mentioned on the cover itself, and no web address URL printed on the cover image. Apple, in particular, will reject covers with those things.
Apple's rules. Good to know.
Also, ensure the text on the cover is crisp, clear, and easily readable, even at that small thumbnail size. Test it by shrinking it down yourself. And technically, the image file must be in RGB color mode, not CMYK, which is for print. An easy way to check, the guide says, is to try opening the JPG file in a web browser like Firefox. If it opens and displays correctly, it's almost certainly RGB.
Neat trick for checking color mode. Okay, so we've meticulously formatted our manuscript. We've prepared our perfect cover. Now for the final push, the publishing process itself. Uploading and then ensuring quality control. What's the drill?
Right, the final steps. The process starts on the Smashwords site by using the main publish link if it's a brand new book. Don't use upload a new version unless you're actually updating an existing book.
Okay, publish for new books.
Then you fill in all your book's metadata very carefully: title, author, description, categories, price, etc. Attach your final clean .doc manuscript file and your prepared .pg cover file. A specific tip if you're pricing your book: Choose price endings like $1.9996, $10.99, Apparently, Apple's system prefers these $9.99 endings.
Little details matter.
They do. And, importantly, do not refresh your browser page while the files are uploading, or you might accidentally trigger a duplicate publication. Just be patient.
Patience is a virtue. Okay, upload complete. And then comes AutoVetter, which sounds maybe a bit intimidating, but you said earlier it's more like a friend.
AutoVetter is definitely designed to be your friend, not a scary gatekeeper. Immediately after your upload finishes, Smashwords' automated technology analyzes your .doc file for common formatting errors that would prevent inclusion in their premium catalog distribution. It's designed to give you instant feedback so you can fix common problems quickly, right there and then.
What kind of errors does it typically catch?
The common things we've discussed. Using more than 4 consecutive returns, using tabs for indents, using extra returns between paragraphs instead of style spacing, using exotic or very large fonts, using the spacebar for indents, accidentally leaving in columns or tables or text boxes, mixing paragraph styles inconsistently, using words auto footnotes, or having floating images instead of in line with text. Also, copyright page issues we mentioned.
Okay.
You check your Smashwords dashboard for the book status. If it says modifications required, AutoVetter has found something. It's not a final rejection, it's an opportunity. They usually tell you what it found, you fix it in your .doc file, and re-upload using the Upload New Version link this time. Think of it as a helpful, lightning-fast first-pass editor focused only on showstopper formatting issues.
That's a much better way to look at it. Okay, so let's say it passes AutoVetter, or we fix the issues and it passes. The book is live. Is our work done then?
Not quite. Once it's live and the different format conversions are complete, which can take a little while, you really need to check your work post-publishing. Download several of the different generated formats, definitely EPUB, MOBI, maybe PDF, and check them for quality. Look through them. Do they look good? Does everything flow correctly? If you find a certain format really doesn't do your book justice, maybe you have a picture book, and the TXT or PDB formats obviously won't show images, you can go into your dashboard settings and deactivate those specific formats for that book.
Oh, you can turn off specific formats.
Yes. But remember, EPUB is generally your most important format for most retailers like Apple, Kobo, B&N. And MOBI is still required if you want Smashwords to distribute your book to Amazon Kindle. A great tip from the guide. Use the online HTML reader preview on the Smashwords book page itself as a quick canary in a coal mine.
Canary in a coal mine.
Yeah, because the HTML version is often a base for generating other formats.
Yep.
If your book looks weird or broken in the HTML preview, it's a strong sign you have underlying formatting issues in your source.doc file that need fixing. If it looks good in HTML, it's more likely, though not guaranteed, to look good elsewhere.
That's a useful quick check.
Yeah.
Okay, and for those aiming for the Apple iBook store specifically, there's one more crucial hurdle, something called ePub compliance. What exactly is that, and why does it matter so much for Apple?
Right, EPUB check. This is basically non-negotiable for distribution to Apple. Think of EPUB check as the official industry standard, like a very strict quality control validator for your final EPUB file. It's a tool that checks the underlying code of your EPUB file to ensure it meets all the technical specifications. This helps guarantee the book will work correctly and look good on all sorts of e-reading devices and apps, but Apple is particularly strict about requiring it to pass.
How do you check it?
Smashwords runs its own check, but you can also check your downloaded EPUB fees yourself using online validators. The guide mentions one, http://3press.org, document pub-validate. You just upload your EPUB file there.
And what if it fails? What causes failures?
Common EPUB check failures often point back to subtle issues in your original Word.doc source file. Things like malformed hyperlinks, maybe missing the HTTP or a mailto prefix for email links, or sometimes deeper HTML or CSS styling errors that Meatgrinder couldn't fully resolve. These are often fixed by using the nuclear method to clean the source file. Other causes can be things like misidentified image file types within the EPUB package, weird characters causing properties errors, or play order errors, which often relate to problems in how your table of contents or NCX was structured.
Sounds complicated.
The error messages themselves can look super confusing, yes, full of technical jargon. But the key takeaway from the guide is that these errors almost always stem from problems in your original Word document. Fixing the source file, often using the principles of simplicity and maybe even the nuclear method for stubborn cases, is usually the path to getting that EPUB validation pass needed for Apple.
Okay, persistence and clean source files are key. So, wow, we've really journeyed through the intricacies of ebook formatting via the Smashwords Style Guide. From that core philosophy of simplicity all the way down to the nitty-gritty of text flow, images, hyperlinks, crucial front and end matter, covers, autovetter, epoopechic. It's a lot of detail, but actually it feels incredibly empowering now.
I agree. This deep dive has hopefully equipped you, the listener, with the knowledge to navigate Smashwords formatting with real confidence. It's all about ensuring your book looks professional, that it respects the reader's experience by flowing beautifully on their chosen device, whatever that might be, and ultimately reaches the widest possible audience through Smashwords' distribution network. It truly is about leveraging this technology effectively to share your story, as Mark Coker says, your book, your way.
And maybe consider this as a final thought. In this world just flooded with infinite digital content, what greater gift can you actually give your reader than a book that respects their choices? A book that adapts seamlessly to their reading experience, no matter the device, no matter the font size they prefer. It's not just about getting published anymore. It's really about providing a truly frictionless, maybe even joyful reading experience.
Well said. So apply these insights, clean up those manuscripts, and celebrate your beautifully formatted ebook. And for further exploration, remember to check out Mark Coker's companion guide, the Smashwords Book Marketing Guide, for what to do after formatting, as well as other helpful resources mentioned in the original source material. Until next time, keep diving deep into what matters.